Hi all, welcome to another RPA tutorial video. Today in this video, we are going to understand about RPA migration. So you might be hearing much about RPA migration nowadays, and also most of the jobs from RPA technology is nowadays based on the migration. So in this video, I'll try to give you some idea what is all about this migration and why companies are moving towards the migration. Before start, I would request you to kindly support this channel by subscribing our channel, and if you think this video is helpful and informative, please click on the like button. And also if you're looking for any help related to your RPA migration project, so you can contact us. We'll be happy to help you. Alright, so now let's see what are the topic we are going to cover for this video. So we are going to understand what is RPA migration and why this migration is happening. So let's say if you have decided to start with the migration, so what is the major action or the steps you need to follow? So that is like the pre-migration assessment, and after that we'll talk about the RPA bot migration. Let's say after the migration is done, so what will be your action or role as a developer or a technical architect. So we are going to also talk about the error and other issues that we need to take care. Let's say after fixing the issues or the error, so what we are going to do with the testing and the validations, and at the end we will understand the documentation part as well as the deploying your migrated bot into the production. So let's start with the first one, which is the what is RPA migration. So RPA migration is all about upgrading your existing RPA processes, or let's say the bot from, or moving your bot from one platform to another platform. So for example, so let's say your bot is running into a tool called let's say Automation Anywhere. Now you want to move into the UiPath or a Power Automate, or let's say any other tool. So similarly, let's say your bot is running into the UiPath and you want to move to any other XYZ tool. So in that case, you have to go with the RPA migration. So this RPA migration is all about moving your bot from one RPA platform to another RPA platform. So this migration can happen in many ways. So another one of the example is, so if I understand from the Automation Anywhere point of view, so let's say when Automation Anywhere started, it was a kind of the on-prem application. So there everything was based on the on-prem, but later on they moved with the cloud part, which is Automation 360. So there one migration happened. So if have if you have a bot which is running into the Automation Anywhere, let's say version 11, and if you want to move that into the Automation 360, so there our Automation Anywhere provided a migration utility. So there you have to follow certain steps, and that step will help you to move your code into the cloud platform, and there you have to make some changes by fixing some error or mapping some variable, although it was a very small effort. Now, so this is the migration happened from same platform, from on-prem to the cloud. So what if you want to move your Automation Anywhere bot to the Power Automate? Okay, so that will be again you might have thinking how it is possible, because both are a different platform, right? So there are two things available in case if you have a such requirement. One is, so you can either start from the scratch development. So let's say your Automation Anywhere bot you want to build into the Power Automate, so you can start with the fresh development by understanding the process or referring to your existing RPA bot, and same thing you can develop into your next platform. And another way of migration is, there are migration tools available in the market. So one of the popular tool which is currently available in the market is a Blueprint, okay, which is very popular, and most of the companies are using that tool to complete this migration activity. So that tool, what basically it do, so in the tool you have to upload the package or a bot. So let's say you want to migrate your UiPath to the Automation Anywhere, or let's say the Power Automate. So from UiPath you have to get your all the XAML files. It should be a package, right? So that you have to get it from your UiPath, and that package you have to upload into the Blueprint. So what Blueprint will do, it will convert that code and it will move to the Power Automate. If your target application is a Power Automate, So it will analyze and it will do whatever needs to be taken care from, like, moving from UI part to Power Automate from the backend. So this blueprint is a one of the tool that will do this migration. So you can explore this blueprint little bit because they already have some the tutorials available. So if you want, you can refer to that, and I'm sure that will help you in understanding how this migration happens in the background. Okay, now move with the next point. Why RPA migration? So you have next question, like, why we are going towards the migration. Let's say your bot is running perfectly fine into the existing environment, so there is no challenges, everything is going fine performance wise, but the only thing which companies are now thinking is the cost. Okay, so maybe the existing solutions or existing platform whatever you are using is costly. Okay, they are charging more money. So now if I compare the license cost with Power Automate, so their license cost is very low, and they are giving more options to, like, not only stick with the RPA. If you have something where you can build a the app, or if you want to go with the data visualization, so they are also providing you the options to use Power Apps or the Power BI. So those things are coming, and their RPA license costs is also very low compared to the other RPA the providers. So this is the one of the reason why companies are moving towards this RPA migration. The next one is the pre-migration assessment. So let's say you have decided to migrate your bot from your current RPA service provider to, let's say, the Power Automate. So it is not it is always recommended to, do some assessment or analysis of your existing bot. So let's say you have a super complex bot that is, on running once in a month or once in a quarter. So you have to decide and understand what type of processes you want to move it. If you want to move entire things, or if you have a huge bot which is running into your current platform, and because of that you are paying good license cost, and you want to move to the next RPA tool such as Power Automate. So in that case, it's a recommended to go and understand your bot and make sure you are comparing all the actions or whatever step is doing by the bot into your current RPA tool. So same thing is available and it's easy to migrate it. Okay, so this assessment will basically help you on decide whether your bot or whatever RPA processes which you are running is good to move with your next environment. It's not always necessary to move everything into, let's say, from your existing RPA tool to the next one, or let's say the Power Automate or a UI path. Okay, so this migration will give you some idea whether you are good to move, or you want to stay with your current RPA tool. Okay, now so let's say you have decided and you are good to move with your RPA bot. So in that case, it is always good to after the assessment, if you have the number of so initially you have to decide and choose the number of bot, or maybe you can decide something like a phase wise. So let's say in phase 1 I want to try and see with the number of 5 bots to see how this the target applications or the application which I'm going to use is performance wise, or you have to make sure you are good to understand that tool in terms of performance or the exceptions and other stuff, right? So once you are good with that, then this, as I said, this blueprint is one of the tool. So by using that, you can upload the package into the blueprint, and that blueprint will convert that into the target RPA tool, and it will send you that code into the, let's say, the Power Automate, and there you have to start your RPA migration. So the process is very simple and straightforward only. So this will be taken care by the tool if you are going from the utility tool such as blueprint, or if you want to start your development from the scratch, then again you have to understand from start to end each and every step, and you have to do the development. Okay. Now the next one is, let's say your bot is migrated. I'm assuming it is happening through the blueprint. So once your code is migrated to the Power Automate, so now it's like it's not I mean, this tool, let's say the blueprint tool or whatever tool we are going to use, it will not migrate your code 100%. So it is depending on the complexity of the bot and the actions whatever is using into your existing bot. So once the migration is done, so it will, I can say, based on my experience, these tools are able to migrate 80% in some cases, 90% also. In some cases I have seen 70% as well, right? So but the good thing about this tool is it will give you the overview about the how much percentage of migration happened and what are the action. It will generally give you the report which will help you on understanding which part of the action is migrated successfully or which part of migration is not migrated, let's say the completely or a partial migration. So that by looking into the report you can understand, okay, in this area you have to look into it and you have to work on that. So there will be two things. So first will be there will be some errors. So errors and the other issues such as let's say some of the action which is present in the automation anywhere but is not present in the Power Automate, for example. So error will be something like that. Let's say the path is missing, or let's say the variable mapping is incorrect, because both are a different platform itself, right? So it's not always easy to map each and everything. Okay, so the other example of error would be so in Automation Anywhere we have options to get the credential from the credential vault, but in Power Automate we do not have such options. So in case if you want to maintain your credential, you have to go with either Azure Key Vault or a CyberArk, something like that. So similarly, if you are moving from UiPath to Power Automate, and let's say you are storing your assets into the orchestrator or reading other information from your orchestrator, so those part won't be migrated. So in that case, this tool will show you as an error, or maybe it will give you informations to you have to take care of these things by fixing it. Or if you have those type of issues, so let's say you are using let's say UiPath, and from orchestrator you are getting your assets, right? So which is not possible in Power Automate. So you can go with alternate options. Maybe you can use Dataverse, and there you can store your config files, or maybe you can go with the Excel or XML, whatever option is available. So in this type of things, you have to do the fresh development for this piece of code, and you have to place into your solutions which got migrated, and you have to test your bot and run. So there are so many things that you have to take care. So once you start with the migration, you'll understand what are the things you have to take care and what are the issues we need to fix before running the bot end to end. So let's say I have done with the error fixes and other piece of code migration or a development which is not migrated. So it is recommended to test your bot. So it should again go with the SIT and the UAT. So there you can make sure this bot is running as expected, and it has covered all the business rules or the exception scenarios and everything. Once this testing and validation is done, then you are good to go with the deployment. So it's a very straightforward. It's like a normal RPA lifecycle only. Okay, but only thing is you have to take care of extra is the documentations. So let's say currently your bot is running into the Automation Anywhere, and you have a run book or any other document. So that document you have to update as per the Power Automate or your the migrated RPA tool. Okay, so the document you have to update. So the end user, or let's say the support team, if they wanted to troubleshoot any issues, or if they want to do something, so they can at least understand, okay, so they have to log in using this URL, or they have to go to this place in order to make the changes. So overall, this RPA migration is a kind of it's very straightforward. The only challenge is by analyzing and fixing the error, and if you're done with that, the rest will be fine only. So I hope this video is giving you a little idea about this RPA migration, and how this migration happens. In case if you have any question, so you can let us know. I'll be happy to help you.